printing in pelvic fracture urethral injuries. So we have one of the largest experience. As we all know, we have done more than 1,300 cases. Majority of the referrals to our center are complex. And a simple urethrogram, that is an RGU-MCU, works for more than 95% of patients. But we do have complex patients which are sent for MRI. The number of patients who require pubectomy in our group is about 68%. Okay. Additional to it, we are also a fellowship center where we get fellows from all across the world, where we have to train them in performing urethroplasty as well as pubectomy. And when I mean by complexity, these are the patients we get, the patients with anterior and posterior strictures with a rectourethral fistula combined, a urethra which is connected directly to the bladder neck, an injury which can be intraprostatic, so it is at the prostatomembranous region, or you can have a urethrogram which looks as if there are two bladder necks. So severe complexity can be present when we get our patients. So whenever we refer a patient in urology for a CT scan, he comes back with about 2 or 3 plates, and we know there is a plain film and a contrast film. But whenever we send him for an MRI, we suddenly have 5 and 6 plates. It has a T1, it has a T2, T2 stach, flare. I am a radiologist myself. Before doing surgery, I did radiology for 1.5 years, quit it and joined surgery. So I have been through all these protocols. And this is the commonest image that a radiologist will give you. You really can't notice it exactly unless you study deep in the details and the patient is always looking at your face. So what is the simple point that I had learned in my radiology days is that in an MRI, urine acts as a natural contrast. So if you have water, it will light up on a T2 image. So I kept the suprapubic catheter clamped, gave the patient alpha blockers an evening prior, and injected lignocaine jelly in the urethra and tied it with a simple gauze piece. So the entire anterior urethra lights up. All we have to do is a dynamic image, which is T2 sagittal, which will take less than 5 minutes. And here is an image of a patient. On the left-hand side, you can see only a Foley's bulb. But on the right-hand side, you are able to see the bladder completely, the posterior urethra, the pubic bone, the lighted anterior urethra. Now you know what is the gap. You know the relationship of the pubic bone to the rat of the lower end of the urethra. You can see the rectum is far away. So this was a simple innovation I did as far as a protocol of MRI is concerned in pelvic fracture. I'm not saying that every patient should have it. So if you draw a horizontal line at the base of the pubic bone and you look at the posterior urethra, if it is high, we know this requires a transpubic approach. And if the urethra comes below this yellow line, which is the inferior pubic margin, you know that this patient will not require an inferior pubectomy approach. While I was presenting this in Pune, one of my teachers, Dr. Date, said, "Why are you doing MRI? Why don't you do a CT scan?" And I said, CT will have a radiation. But for the next patient, I said, let's try a CT scan. So I injected the contrast in the bladder and the same in the urethra, took 5 mm sections, and I did a 3D reconstruction for it. And then the next idea was, why don't we are able to print this 3D? So this is a patient which has got a very high bladder neck. This is how a 3D reconstruction will look. I Googled it. Trust me, even if you Google now, there are enough 3D printers available around our area. I had 20 in Kothurud. I found hold of one. This was the Ultimaker 3D printer. I just gave him the 5 mm cuts. He was very used to it. It took about 20 hours, and this is how he gave me back a nice 3D printed design of the pelvic fracture with a full bladder. You can see the posterior urethra, you can see the pubic arch. This is the inferior view. You just rotate it and you can see that the posterior urethra is higher than the inferior pubic margin, and this patient will need a pubectomy. Similarly, a urethrogram and a 3D printing of another patient. The only flaw that I found in this technique was the anterior urethra was hanging. So you need to have a bar. So what you see, a transverse bar, is actually an attachment for the image. But in this particular patient, you can see the urethra is a U-shaped rather than a straight posterior urethra that we see. This is a short video clip of the 3D printed models that we had. So to get a better view, I've printed about 10 of them. This is only in complex cases. This, I just got it home painted, some work for my son. So you can see the posterior urethra, which is curved, the pubic bone. Here you can just rotate it, see the posterior urethra is far away from the rectum. It is closer to the inferior pubic arch. I'm not able to print the soft tissues currently. The 3D printer only takes a high contrast, so we can't print the soft tissues along with the posterior urethra. But it gives us an idea where the posterior urethra would be in the surgery. We have shown this to all our fellows and all the visitors who came, and it really helps in orientation of the posterior urethra of the rectum and the pubic bone. It does help in predicting pubectomy and the direction of displacement. So the observers and the fellows did like an idea. There was a visual score which we did, which we published in the Turkish Journal of Urology. And what I want to do now is to make this of an cancellous material rather than a polyacrylic material. So my fellows can practice pubectomy a day prior to going into surgery. So this was the advantage. In fact, this year I got an email from Aunt Mini, which is very popular in radiology, and they published this particular technique in the European part. And this is our paper, which has been accepted at the Turkish Journal, where we have also added the visual scores of all the observers and fellows. Thank you all for a warm and patient hearing.
Thank you, Joshi. It's a nice idea. Whatever information what you get in respect to whatsoever way you get, it is going to be beneficial in your planning. There is no doubt. We started with 2 bougies on either side and taking a plain X-ray on an oblique angle. And then we started looking at it in a CT scan, and now you got an MRI, and then 3D printing it and visualizing it. But only one thing which possibly may not correlate exactly is whatever lumen what you are seeing is going to be a useful urethra or not. It may give you an idea about pubectomy part is concerned, but whatever lumen you see as a urethra, is it useful for an anastomosis or not, is one thing which possibly is unpredictable and which can be seen only after exploration. What is your comment on that?
Yes, so there is artificial intelligence and human intelligence, and we can never replace the human intelligence. So that is going to be our tactile and a visual part, which is definitely necessary. So this is mainly as a teaching aid and worry for people how to do pubectomy. So this would be mainly useful for us.
I understand. I think basically majority of the cases, even the pubis doesn't look the way we are expecting it inside, and it looks in a different fashion. And what we take it as a pubis may not be only callus what you access at the end of the day. So understandably, but it gives you, as I said, whatever information what you get into your brain before you start operating is always useful at one point of time or other, in some patient or other, if not.
Thank you. It costs around 5,000 rupees. It's easily
wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Good idea. More research ahead. Thank you, Dr. Joshi. Thank you very much for that.
Thank you, Pankaj. Very good idea. Quick question, if you may.
Yeah.
You said 3D printing is available all around. Yes. In fact, the dentists use it quite commonly.
Yes.
Only every day now for me.
Yeah.
So, will you going to specifically suggest urologists try this out outside of a teaching thing, where it's going to clinically help you? Would you consider it for all the complex cases? Where do you want to suggest urologists should ask for a 3D printed model?
I would suggest it mainly as of now for only complex cases, because it will give you an orientation. What's important is to have the bladder full and the patient void in the gantry. That's very essential. But if you see the latest publications that are coming, Dr. Prokar Das Gupta is using it for renal cancers. It's been used for prostate cancers. It's been used for everything. So definitely the orientation changes and the surgical perception. As of now, I would recommend it only for, we would recommend it only for complex cases.
Thank you. Thank you.